Today I'm going to show you guys how to create a simple zooming Snapchat lens where when the user taps, it's going to zoom the screen in as if they like pinched or whatever. It's a pretty beginner tutorial and it can be used for dramatic effects, it can be used for accessibility, anything, you name it. And with this uh, feature, you can expand on it as well. This is like the base effect of a lot of different Snapchat lenses right now. So to get started, I'm just going to clear out the lighting and these two textures to free up space, and they clutter the whole project, so whatever. We're going to add a few different things to the scene. First, we're just going to add an empty child object to the camera, and in the camera we're going to change this to orthographic. This is going to be called the zoom screen, and then in the zoom screen we're going to add two components. One is going to be the screen transform and the other one is going to be an image. The screen transform is going to be essentially our zoom, and we need these four parameters to zoom. And so we're going to change the texture to render target, and when we do that, it actually and change it to disabled blending mode. Now what you're looking at here in the screen is our that's out right here. It's the image. So if we were to say, let's zoom it to 2 times, -2, 2, -2, and then 2, that's 2 times zoom, right? That's the effect we're going to be producing when a user taps. So let's reset this, -1, 1, -1, 1, and back to normal. A few more things we're going to need is it's going to be a plane. So add down here to your resources, add a plane. And then to the camera, we're going to add a new child object again. Drag the plane over here. The plane, its rotation 0, which is perfect. Rename this to tap plane. That's going to be where we tap. And so just make sure it's highlighted and hit W and right click to move around, and we're just going to move it out a tiny bit so it's in front of the camera. Hit R to make it to stretch it, and then just make it so that it covers the entire screen here. Perfect, just like that. Let's add a new PBR material, and we're going to make it transparent. So I'll just rename this quickly to transparent. Remove the textures folder, it's automatically created, not going to need it. This transparent, we are going to say normal blend. We need alpha, none of these checkboxes, and then the color, we're going to have a 0 alpha channel. Once that's done, click your tap plane and then just make sure transparent is selected. There you go. Your plane is now invisible. It's still there. You can see right through it. And that's what we're going for. Create a new script here. And then name this something like zoom controller. And then add a new object to the scene. Call this a zoom, probably. Drag the zoom controller to the right when this is highlighted so that it's a part of the zoom. And then zoom is also going to get touch. Choose the camera and then choose the plane that we just created, the tap plane. Perfect. That is going to be what we're tapping on. What is going on here? Okay, that was weird. Funky. So anyway, our tap is going to register now in the script. I think this is all set up in Lens Studio, so now we can jump to our Visual Studio Code. Open up your JavaScript. You can use any text editor, obviously, to manipulate the code we're about to write, but I like Visual Studio Code because of the proper IntelliSense that it provides. All right, so we're going to need a few things set up here. Sorry, let me jump back into that. We're going to need some inputs from you guys, from the user. So in order to do that, we are going to say input component dot screen transform. This is the actual zooming object, and then we'll name it the screen. We'll also need how long we're going to wait when it's zoomed in. So we'll call it wait seconds. And then one more input, we'll say speed, and it's going to be a float. So back in Lens Studio, let's just set these, make sure everything's good. We're going to select the screen transform. We're going to say we're going to wait for 2 seconds, and the speed is going to be 0.4. Perfect. Go ahead and save that. We have our input set up. Now we're going to need some global variables here. We're going to say scale, which scale is going to be set to default 1. Scale is the zoom screen. It's going to be the same value in all of these, just obviously reflected as -1 for the left and bottom. After that, we're going to need some booleans. Var zooming in is false. Var holding when it's waiting is equal to false. Var zooming out is false as well. And then we're going to need a time variable, an int variable for holding until. And it can be blank. Next, we're going to say we need our tap event is equal to script.create event tap event. And then we're going to need an update event. Perfect. And so we'll create these. Function tapped event data is passed in, and then function update with event data passed in. Wonderful. Oh man. Perfect. And then we're just going to need to bind these, so we're going to say tap event dot bind tapped, and then update event dot bind update. Okay. We're also going to need one more function, zoom, which is going to do the load of our work. Oops. Perfect. We'll start with the tapped event. We're going to say if we're not zooming in and we're not zooming out, then we're going to zoom in. All right. And now in the update, we're going to have a few conditions here. If we're zooming in, else if we're holding, else if we're zooming out. So if we're zooming in, and if the scale is still less than, and I'm going to say 2, this is 2 times zoom for me, you can adjust this however you want. If the scale is less than 2, we're going to add. Scale is plus equals the script dot zoom speed. And then else if the scale is greater than or equal to 2, then we gotta stop it. We're gonna say holding until is equal to get time, which is a global method, plus script dot wait time. So we're gonna reference this later, and then we're gonna say holding is true. And then we're not zooming out in, and we're not zooming out. Perfect. Next, we're going to say if we're holding, then if the get time is greater than or equal to the holding time we specified, holding until, image. If get time is greater than holding until, then we are now zooming out. So we'll just, in case, we're going to set zooming in is false, zooming out is true. holding is false. And sorry, I'm all over the place right now. Zooming, my bad. We're going to say holding is true. And zooming out, oh my goodness, false. Zooming out is true. And then otherwise, if we're zooming out, then we are going to say scale is less than, or sorry, scale minus equals script dot speed if the scale is less than or equal to 1, we always want it to be 1, it's always got to be 1 at the base, then we're going to say zooming in is false. Ugh. Zooming out is false. And scale is going to be equal to 1. Perfect. In the zoom method, we're just going to grab back to Lens Studio, we're going to grab these 4 variables and set them based on the actual scale, in or out. We're going to make them bigger or smaller. And so to get them, we're going to say var bounds is equal to script, and we're grabbing the scene object that we passed in. We named it screen dot anchors. And anchors comes from the API. This is Lens Studio's property for getting those 4 values. So then we can say bounds dot left is equal to scale times -1. Bounds dot top is equal to scale. Bounds dot right is equal to scale. And bounds dot bottom is equal to scale times -1. Perfect. So this is just going to be called at the end of every update zoom, so that it's always going to be updating and it'll be a smooth transition. Let's check Lens Studio to see if we have any errors. Apparently we don't. So we can hit refresh here to make sure. And I believe it should work. But it doesn't. And not zooming. Oh, my bad. There it is right there. Not zooming out. There we go. That's it. A little bit of a typo. Although it's still not zooming back out. Okay. Another bug. That's funny. It's wait seconds. Oh my god. You guys might have caught up on that one, but I did not. It's wait seconds, and it didn't throw me an error, strangely enough. So this should work. 2 seconds. Okay, there we go. That's it. A little bit of a typo. Funny that it didn't throw an error, but anyway, there's your tutorial on how to zoom in. You can play with it based on those settings and have at her. But anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and everything. Please watch again.